right, friends, how we doing? Y'all been having a good day so far? We have any fans of Independence Day Resurgence? 3 of you, awesome. How about the boys? Oh, man, you're going to have a great time. I have had a fabulous time spending some time with this young man. So please do me a favor, put your hands together and welcome to the stage. You may know him as A-Train, but it is Jessie T. Usher!
Is it still morning? Good morning, good morning.
Yeah,
we got a little bit of time.
I think we got like 30 minutes, so.
I tried to kick open the doors, but they're already moving.
If you don't want to sit on the weird couch, you can stand, or we can
man, I'm sitting on the weird couch,
it's
bro.
whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Here we go. Maybe like up high. Nah, that's weird. How you guys doing?
They're out there somewhere.
Yeah, right?
So.
Final day of the con. How's everybody feeling?
Look.
Nice.
I know we just talked about it backstage, but I want you to tell these people who you brought with you on this life-changing trip to South Africa.
I can't be spilling all the beans, bro. I can't be telling all my business. You know? No, I'm just kidding. I brought my family with me. I brought my parents. I brought my sister. Like I was saying backstage, I had to. You know what I mean? It's our first time on the continent, and it's very important that they got a chance to experience this, like meeting everybody and the culture and the food and just. You know, like it's just been like such an incredible experience as I assumed that it would be, and I'm glad everybody was able to make it. We've been having such a good time, so thank you guys for receiving us so well. It's been amazing.
So have you gotten to eat anything that's been memorable?
Man, I had some lamb chops last night that I'm definitely gonna go home and tell my friends about. Yeah, for sure. But I'm gonna try some more traditional dishes, like going forward. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, and it's also you have to realize like.
Uh-oh.
This country understands spice.
Oh, yeah. No, I had a salad that was, like, spicy. Where's Tia, my sister and I, we had a salad last night, and it was, like, seasoned lettuce. I was like, what the fuck is this? No, that was amazing. That shit was crazy.
It's South Africa, man. That's what it's about. So
I know.
You've been performing since you were very, very young. And you've done the gamut, but...
yeah.
I'm pretty sure they want to hear about your time on The Boys. And we talked the very first day about it.
You guys have seen The Boys? Oh, nice. Okay, great.
So we're a whole new group of people. How many of you were here for our first conversation? All right, only a couple. So see, we're going to back and touch on some of the things. So you clearly don't know anything about this before they hand you you hadn't seen or read the comic before you auditioned.
No. I mean, I was... contract signed, like I was in the show before I knew what the show was going to be. It was, after I had already been booked for the role of A-Train before I, started to dive into like who the character actually was. I was shooting a movie at the time, shooting Shaft at the time, so like I didn't have a ton of time to do a bunch of research beforehand. You know what I mean? So it was one of those things where I was like trying to catch up after the fact. And I looked at my mom like on Christmas break, and I was like, I think I made a mistake. Oh, shit. I was like, I don't know. This is kind of crazy.
So when you auditioned, was it like a code name, or did you clearly know what you were auditioning for?
No, it wasn't a code name, but, I didn't know the source material. I wasn't familiar with the comics, so, it's not like it was a secret or anything like that.
So what did the side say? What did it say that you were reading for? Because truly you had to find this character.
It was the scene like after A-Train kills Robin, he goes to like the underground soup club, and he's talking to the other soups, and he's like complaining, you know what I mean, that this girl was in his way, and like, her molar got like, and he's in his mouth or whatever, and he was covered in her blood, and he was just disgusted with the fact that she was even in his presence, you know what I mean? It was that scene.
Okay.
And like I said, I was shooting something, so I was kind of reluctant to do the audition in the first place, and I just didn't have time to like learn the material, and I really hated my audition. So I woke up the next day, and I was like really, really pissed off, and I told my parents, I was like, look, I hate this tape. I don't want to send this in. I feel like I'm being, like my arm is being twisted to do this thing, like while I'm trying to focus on something else. And I watched it back, and I just really didn't like my own performance. So I asked them if they would record like a second audition with me, and I just had like this nasty attitude about it. And I sent the tape in, you know, like kind of pissed that I was doing this in the middle of something else. And then Eric calls me and he's like, hey man, this attitude that you have about like being pissed off about this girl Robin, I love that. It's like it ended up working out. We like took that into the character, you know what I mean? So like he becomes this numb, like this person who just doesn't give a damn about like anyone or anything. And it really just sort of stemmed from the fact that I was upset with like how I was doing. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It just sort of worked out a crazy world.
You're in the middle. You're in the middle of work, and you're like
in the middle of work. And it's like if you're trying to take yourself out of something to do something else, like as an actress, this is the last thing that you want to do. And that attitude is sort of what we carried through the series. That's how A-Train behaved from there on out.
And that's usually how it works too. The gig that you don't want is the one that you book and you end up loving.
I know. You just never know, man. You never know. And plus, like if you read this material from the very beginning, not knowing what it is, you're not gonna think that people are gonna watch it. There's no way. There's like 7 dick jokes in every script. You're like, there's no way people are gonna actually love this show. And then like, it ends up being what it is. So.
Well, then it scarily becomes like a view into what's going on in America right now.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you meet all these people who are like huge fans of Homeland, and you're like, something's wrong with y'all. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is something to be studied there.
So, if you had the opportunity to be cast as a different character in the show, is there any of the other characters you'd rather be?
Fun fact, I auditioned for the Deep first.
Really?
Yeah. So they sent me both. They sent me A-Train and the Deep. And I was like rehearsing both of them. And then the Deep just sort of, I don't know, just didn't have like the right fit. You know what I mean? I was like, A-Train sort of has like a little bit more swagger to him. I kind of like the way that, I kind of like the conversation that he was having with the other characters. Like in the material that I had, we only had 6 pages, you know what I mean? Or like 2 scenes, and that was about it. So I didn't have much to go off of. But the material for the Deep, I just didn't really connect with. So I prepared it, but I never actually sent a tape in for it. I just submitted for A-Train, and it worked out.
How did the first costume fitting go?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my God, bro. Terrible. Terrible. It wasn't even the first costume fitting. The first 2 seasons were like a work in progress. They were sort of figuring a lot of things out. The hardware on A-Train's suit was really heavy, and the closures, because if we would let you guys guess how many hidden zippers were in his suit, how many would you think? 17. 17 hidden, yeah, it was actually crazy that you guessed 17. 17 hidden zippers on his suit. And like all the hardware had like these crazy like closures and buttons and bra hooks and all this other kind of stuff. And what we discovered during the first season is that I couldn't run in the suit. As soon as I ran, the suit fell apart. Like the leg pieces would fall off, the belt would like unbuckle, you know what I mean? The back would split. There was all these things that would happen throughout the process of the first season that we had to like fix to make it practical. It looked great. It looked perfect in pictures, but the moment I got on set and I had to move, shit just started falling apart. So, like the first fitting, they had these things like, it's so embarrassing to say, but they used to call them manties. It was like man panties. Where I was like underneath the suit, the top of the suit sort of like hooked into the pants to keep it all together so that like, it looked like it was one piece, but it was really 4. And it was just super uncomfortable. Like it just wouldn't work. And there was a few different suits, like Black Noir had the same thing. And like we just hated it. It took years, literally years, for us to be able to find like a comfortable version of the suit that also stayed together so that I could like do the action that I was written to do.
Now, how much of the action did you do yourself, and how much
all
went
of it.
to? It's all.
Yeah, for A-Train, I always had a stunt double on set, but for the most part, I didn't really need them. It's just running. Or, if there's any type of like fight sequence or anything like that. It's not like it was super complicated because he's a speedster. You know what I mean? So for as long as I could run or body slam somebody is pretty much all that he was doing. I was able to do most of it myself.
Now, did you have to was there any workout regimen or anything that you needed to do to make sure that you were in shape for?
Nothing specific. I did keep up with my cardio just to make sure that on the days that we had heavy stunt days and stuff. I just wanted to be able to keep up. This is the worst thing that you could possibly do is show up to set and not be able to run. so yeah, I just made sure that I was staying in shape, all that kind of stuff. I worked out pretty regularly, but nothing too specific for A-Train. I know when we first started the show initially, they were thinking of having us all get in superhero shape. And then Eric Kripke, our showrunner, thought that it would be funny if the Supes in our show weren't in shape. Because they're superhuman. They don't really need to. It's they already have the strength. They already have their power or whatever it is. So as long as they, for me, I'm skinny, I'm tall. So it's okay, it makes sense that this guy can run. He's fast. That's it. He doesn't really need to be ripped or super buff or anything like that. The power just comes from the compound V. But he didn't want us to, he thought that it was ironic or funny that these superheroes are wearing muscle suits to appear strong, but they're just regular people.
So did you
made my job very easy.
Great. Did you have a favorite day on set?
Wow. Do I have a favorite day on set? Probably my first day. I think my first day was my favorite day. It's because we just didn't know what it was. We just didn't know what the show was going to be. It was like a kid in a candy store, sort of. Just this bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. Everybody was happy to be there. We hadn't done our 18-hour days yet. We hadn't done a Canadian winter yet. We were still shooting in the summer in season 1 and season 2, so everything was beautiful. It was lovely, And then it started to get harder and harder and harder and harder from there. But I think episode 1, day 1, season 1 is the day I killed Robin. That was a pretty good day.
What was that day like? Because you explained the shot the other day.
Yeah. Well, I spent 16 and a half hours covered in syrup, essentially, which is the blood. The blood that we use is sugar and food coloring. So it actually made it very interesting in the summertime because bees chased us pretty much the whole day. So you're running from bees, and it also starts to stick and dry and get really hard. It's very uncomfortable, but you get used to it. You know what I mean? Oh, I love you too. Yo, what's up? But yeah, that was what the majority of the show was like. We show up hours before we go to set. We go into the hair and makeup trailer, and we just get covered in blood pretty much all the time. And then throughout the day, they're just spritzing you down to keep the blood wet. It's real gross, but we just got used to it. You know what I mean? We became more bloody than not. And then we eventually, as the Supes, we started to get a little cleaner. We would be in 7 Tower. We wouldn't be as dirty as often. So then we got a chance to look at the boys, and they were always dirty and bloody. And yeah, it sucks for you guys, but we're good over here.
So The Boys was kind of one of the first Amazon shows.
Yeah.
And you'd worked on, typical, what would be traditional studios. What was the difference in working for this brand new studio?
Wow, great question. We could do whatever we want. We could essentially, Amazon was breaking the mold, you know what I mean? They let us do pretty much whatever we wanted to. Anything that Eric Kripke would put on the page, they greenlit, which is super rare for a studio. For a studio, there's all this red tape. They're worried about, how things are going to be received or the political aspect or whatever. Everybody's very careful. They're walking on eggshells. They don't want to offend anybody. And then here comes The Boys where it's we're offending everybody. It's they don't give a fuck about anything.
Oh, so, no. All the marketing was fuck the Supes.
Yeah, exactly.
At New York Comic-Con, giant sign.
Fuck superheroes.
Yeah.
And, it was crazy because Avengers Endgame was coming out. So, they had all these huge billboards everywhere about Avengers Endgame. And, it was all this, Iron Man was here and Thor was there. And then directly behind them, Amazon put billboards that just said, fuck superheroes. So it was like the best marketing scheme, and nobody knew like what it was because they didn't even write the boys on it. They just had black billboards, and the words just said "fuck superheroes," and that was it. And then eventually people figured out that like that was our show. So like even for us, I was like, that's freaking cool. You know what I mean? It was so cool.
So, what was this? We've been doing dumb questions all day.
I like it.
What was the first concert you went to?
The first concert, like in life? Yeah. What was the first concert I went to? It might have been, I don't even know. I'm not even sure.
It's a tough question.
That is a tough question. What was the first concert that I went to? The first concert that I remember was Celine Dion in Las Vegas.
Hey,
My parents took me.
Hey man, it's all good. Now, what's your regiment to get ready to portray A-Train? Like, what gets you in that mindset?
Music. Yeah.
And what type of music?
Usually, well, I mean, it would be something different every time, but usually, you know, when I get to set, I always like order some type of food. You know what I mean? You never know once you start getting going, like when the next time that you're gonna eat. So like I always order something, eat, and then I just go in the trailer, turn the music all the way up, whatever it is, and just like sort of zone out, rehearse the lines in my head. You know what I mean? Maybe do like 2 or 3 push-ups and then put the suit on. And the suit is me and 3 other people to sort of help get it on. So it was a little bit of a process for all of us, you know what I mean? It's sort of like getting our head in the game, and like once you put the suit on, it's on for the day. Because it was, especially in the first season with the manties and the zippers and all that kind of stuff, like I almost couldn't even go to the restroom. You sort of had to like stick it out for the whole day. So, you know, that was the process. It was like the process of putting the suit on sort of felt like Robert Downey Jr. getting his Iron Man suit. You know, I just sort of stood there like this. Like everybody just put pieces on me until like it was built. And then I was in character for the rest of the day.
So your character changes a lot throughout the seasons. Yeah. What kind of explain the arc?
Yeah. Well, it's not something that I saw coming. Like I didn't know what was going to happen with A-Train when we started. You know, I just felt, obviously, you know, he has this wall up from the very beginning, and he's portraying this character that he's not. Who isn't who he really is, and he's just sort of numb to everything. So it was very easy to be him in the first season. It was fun, you know what I mean? It was like, I'm just sort of shrugging off a bunch of stuff or whatever, just had this attitude of like, who cares? And then eventually we start to peel those layers back, but it happened throughout the course of the show. Like I learned about him as everybody else did, you know, like we don't get hints of like what's going to happen next season or even in the next episode of the show. So when we're shooting episode 5, I don't know what's going to happen in episode 6 and so on and so forth. Even as far as like what characters are going to die, we don't know. You know what I mean? It's all a surprise to us, which was crazy because sometimes people that, you know, we get close to on set, we end up reading an episode, you know, before we go into the next one, and then we see, it's like, oh shit. We're gonna lose this person. We call them up, you know, like, hey man, I'm sorry, you know, we're gonna miss you. But nobody's safe in the show, so it was a little bit of exciting, you know, with the page turners, and then with A-Train, he dies like twice in the show. They just bring him back. You know, he keeps having these heart attacks. He has these heart trouble and things like that. So I'd be reading the pages. I'm like, oh well, this is it. This is how he goes. And then I read the next episode. I'm like, and we're back. But yeah, so. It's really, really crazy process and experience to have on a television series because usually they keep you up to date. At least before you start a season, they'll say, you know, you're going to start here. This is what's going to happen. It's going to end like this. That just wasn't how it was on The Boys.
Well, and I'm sure the season that we just finished because you're getting ready for the next one had to be weird for you because you're just kind of not in it. So
exactly. And I was asking the question throughout season 4. I'm like, look, A-Train is cutting his ties. He's burning bridges. He doesn't have any allies. Like, what is he going to do? How are we going to get him out of this? You know what I mean? Like, what's the answer? And I was asking for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then eventually my showrunner called me, and he's like, you know what? We're not gonna do it. We're just not gonna address it. I don't know. We're not gonna figure it out. We'll wait till next season. So I'm like, okay, so what's gonna happen in the finale? And he said, if you're okay with it, we're gonna leave him out. I said, great, yeah, fine, because in my mind, like, the way that he was moving in the end of season 4, I feel like he would have, like, there's just no way he would have survived, you know what I mean, unless he sort of, like, went off somewhere. So I'm asking them, like, where can he go? Like, what can he do? How can we keep him alive to then proceed to the next season? He's like, honestly, we're just not even going to show it in the 4th season, and then we'll just get to it in season 5. And I said, all right, let's do it.
So you show up season 5, things are good, and again, we're not going to share anything with anybody, but we're not.
Not a single thing.
But my favorite question that you were able to give the answer to is, are you satisfied with the end of the show?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
You like
and
where he ends.
You know what's funny? Yesterday, Anthony Starr, who plays Homelander, texted me, and he was doing what's called ADR, which is like voice recording for scenes that, you know, like sometimes the audio gets messed up, and we have to re-record the audio for stuff. And he's like, yo, bro, I'm sitting here, I'm watching scenes from season 5, and holy shit, just wait till everybody sees this. I'm like, I'm so excited, because when I leave from here, I get to go back and do my ADR, so like I get to see some stuff too. Yeah, I'm very satisfied. I cannot wait for you guys to see.
So how different does it look when it's finally done? Like, how much is actually added in post-production? Like, how much of it is actually there?
Honestly, we do 20% of the work. We really do. Like, they build the world out after we're gone. There's so much. I mean, we do a lot of practical things on the show, but it's just the world building is something that, like, we can't even process in the moment. You know what I mean? Like, we only shoot on a stage this big, but when you watch the show, the scenes are worldwide. So there's a ton that gets done in post-production. Our visual effects team is, like, the best in the world, and they do a really, really good job of, you know, incorporating little details to sort of make you feel like you're actually in the world of The Boys when you're watching and not just, like, on a set. So there's just a lot of elements that aren't there when we're shooting that, you know, when I watch the show, it's the first time that I'm seeing. Like I mentioned, I had no idea that A-Train was going to have a sound effect until the show came out. I had no clue. And I think that was something that they added in post-production. Like, they didn't even plan on having that until they watched it and they said, it'd be cool if when he ran, it sounded like a train. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know that was going to happen.
Well, yeah, because it kind of makes sense for the name then, because you're like,
exactly.
Because if you're fast, like, okay, so he's fast, but why isn't he just Speedy Man? Or
exactly. And nobody knows, like, the A train is supposed to be the fastest train in New York City, so like that's how he got his name.
Yeah. So you are quite tall.
I'm only 6'2".
But compared to most of the folks on the cast, you are.
This is a very, like, unique show because typically on shows and stuff that I've worked on before, most of the actors are significantly shorter than I am. So, like, we have to use camera tricks to sort of hide the differences. This is one of the only shows that I've had where the majority of the cast is at least 6 feet or taller. Like, Carl Urban is taller than me. Jack Quaid is taller than me. Me and Laz are about the same height. Tomer and Karen are, like, the only two who are, like, significantly shorter than everybody else. But, like, most of us are pretty tall.
All right. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Where were you going with that? Yeah, where were you
nowhere at all.
Ah, okay.
Nowhere at all.
I see.
We'll leave the secret.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to leave these folks here at South Africa with?
Oh, my goodness. Well, one, thank you for having me. I'm very appreciative of you guys for having me out here. It's been such a nice experience. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching The Boys. I know you're going to love season 5. I hope you're ready. I know you're not, but, like, I hope you'll be ready by the time the show comes out. If you can, watch Gen V season 2 because there's a lot of intertwining of the stories between the two. So you'll get set up for season 5 with Gen V. And, yeah, man, I mean, you know, we laid it all out on the table, so I hope you guys like it.
All right.
What?
So,
which line? Hey, I'm the A-Train. I'm the motherfucking fastest man alive.
Hey, let's let you get another photo with everybody one last time.
Man, of course.
So do me a favor, everybody stand up. Everybody get up. And all right, we'll get you all set.
Here we go. All right, y'all ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. I love it. I love it.
Hey, thank you so
guys.
much for being
I'll
here.
See you guys
hey, do
soon,
me a
okay?
favor. Make some noise for Jessie.
Love you guys.
Hopped into a cab, take me anywhere. I'm in if you're down to get down tonight.